Hello and welcome to another episode of Dampsam Reacts. I think that's what I'm going to call it now. So today we've got as old friend Mr. Anthony Parry, old Amph. So you've seen him on another video. If you want to have a look back through his catalogue, this is Anth that did. I suspect it was his own house, and what he did was basically he waterproofed alt walls, ripped alt floor art, dug a massive channel outside, did loads and loads of work that he just didn't need to do. I think it were a question of, I think he thought that great floods were coming, but it were a bit Mr. Belt and Braces, and I enjoyed doing video, and there were a lot of things what I sort of saw and could comment on and point people in the right direction and say where they were going wrong and where he was going wrong and what he should have done and what he shouldn't have done. And that's what we do these videos for. We watch them because if people are online and they see someone doing something and they think it's right and then they do it on their own property and it's the wrong method and it's the wrong solution and they're giving wrong information, then they're going to take that as this guy being an expert and it being gospel. So I watch these videos and, like I said, I'll comment and I'll say whether I think he's right or wrong, and you can put in comments whether you think I'm right or wrong. And somebody will probably do a reaction video to me reacting to Anthony Parry a bit further down the line. So this came up, and listen, I did subscribe to him. You can subscribe to his channel. I'll tell you. Title of his video is How to Use Limelight Renovating Plaster, Full Process, Best Alternative to Lime Plaster. So I've not seen this video. It came up on my list because I'm subscribed to him, and we're going to go through it together and we'll see what he's got to say. It looks like a nice house just from first visions of that nice stonework. So let's get straight into it and let's see what Mr. Anthony Parry has to say.
I'm going to be talking about renovating plaster.
Oh, we're going to have to put a different sound over this music, aren't we? We're going to strike, aren't we?
A little bit of a wall to hack off, and I'm going to be using some renovating plaster on it. So this is the Limelight. So this is a lime alternative. So I'm going to show you how I use it.
I just want to correct him here, because Limelight is not an alternative to lime plaster, and for simple reason is that Limelight is a cement based plaster. The only thing that that in its title to do with lime is it's probably got a bit of lime in it, but it's light. That's what it is. Instead of like sand and cement renders heavy and dense and hard to put on. Well, not hard to put on, but it's heavy. It's heavy going. This is light. It's a lighter alternative. It's a lightweight plaster. That's where you get Limelight from. Bit of lime in it, and it's light. It's not to do with actual lime plaster because it's cement based, and anybody that's a lime stalwart will be spitting feathers thinking that he's going to put this on instead of lime.
Why I use it, how you do it from start to finish, and I'll get into some of the techniques. This is the problem area.
Oh, let's have a look at problem area. So what we got? Bit of nice covering up. He's got that plastic stuff what they sell at builders merchants. I'm not sure what floor it is inside. It looks solid from just that little bit I can see. It looks solid. I'm going with level on outside and everything. Looks to me like it's probably just a bit of bridging. Pattern of dampness for me, it's just a bridging issue. It could be fact that it looks like a timber door. Could be a cold spot. There could be cold air coming in at the bottom of that door because it only looks like a little threshold, and them doors look like garden doors. So there could be cold air coming in there. Cold air could be condensing on that cold spot because it's next to the door. There could be a gutter leaking outside. It could be dripping against wall, creating a more of a thermal cold bridge from outside, creating a bigger cold spot. So that's my first hunch, just looking at it as a surveyor, as I would going around a property. Your gut instinct to start with, not rising damp, but just so cold thermal bridging, bit of bridging off at floor.
I'm going to knock this wall off to about here, a metre high, and then I'm going to put some renovating plaster in. As you can see, got damp coming through.
Saying it's got damp coming through. I don't know whether it is coming through.
And the reason why I'm going to be using Limelight is to let the moisture leave, because it's just coming straight.
Again, he's straight away. He's saying he's going to let the moisture leave. So it's like it's as if walls saying to moisture, "You've got to stay in there. You've got to stay in there. You're not coming out." You just know, and I know from last videos that Amf just don't know how moisture affects walls and how it travels through walls. Is a guesser. And this problem is obviously gone there, and he's misdiagnosed the issue. I'm not saying that knocking it off and redoing it in Limelight will not solve the problem. It will, but some people go above and beyond what's needed. So if it's just a bit of bridging, it just needed bottom taking off. You know what I mean? Up to 300 mil from last signs of dampness, but you need to know what the actual cause was. So if it is a gutter that's leaking outside, get that fixed. But I just hope he's not gonna be fucking saying breathing, like walls gonna be breathing and stuff all video, because that's what tends to happen with these guys.
Straight through. This is an old property, so basically the moisture needs to come in and it needs to come out. So the sand cement is just holding it in. So I'll put some renovating plaster on, and this
sand and cement don't hold it in. It don't hold it in. Trust me. Water vapour as a gas can go through any material, apart from glass. So I've been told. Some materials are denser than others, and it takes longer for the water vapour to get through and carry on its journey, whether it's going inside out or outside in.
Will let the wall breathe a bit more.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Is that it? At it already. Breathe. Any of your cunts who think that houses can breathe, they've got a set of lungs, and they're like human beings, mammals and animals, you're fucking wrong.
Right, so the first thing I've done is I've put some plastic on the floor already.
I've just thought what I ought to do with this video is, because it's getting near weekend, I ought to get a pint, didn't I? And then every time Amf says breathe or breathing, I'll have two fingers, a 2-finger shot. I'll be pissed after about 10 minutes, I bet.
Also set up some sheeting just here, just to stop any dust going through the house. Also, I've got an extractor fan as well. So
fucking hell. See the size of extractor fan? That's a proper industrial one. It's massive. I'll have to ask him where he got that one from, because I could be at market to get one of them.
I'm covering all bases here.
Not it.
So my next point is I've just got to cut out here. So I've put a line all the
way. When he gets that going, there'll be all furniture getting sucked in. It'll be like an aeroplane engine.
Way to what I'm going to be doing. So I'm
nice
going to get my
marking
multi-tool first, and I'm going to cut along the lines. But if you can see here, I've got a plug socket.
Ooh, plug socket.
These are concrete floors, so realistically, the wire should be coming straight down. So
easiest way to find out, Anth, is just unscrew socket, pull it out, and you'll be able to see which way wires go. So 2 screws, unscrew it, pull it out, have a look down, you'll be able to see whether wires go down or whether they go up. Simple. It's just one of the easiest tricks. Well, it's not even a trick. It's one of the first things that you learn as a damp proofer on site, because you need to know where wires go. Unscrew them and have a look.
So it shouldn't be going below. But what I'll do, just to make sure, is I'm going to cut to about here, and then I'll knock a bit of plaster
Just
out
unscrew
there,
it, mate.
just to make sure there
And have a
isn't
look where
a wire
wire
going
goes.
down as well, because it's best to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, unscrew it,
So
mate.
always be careful near electric sockets.
I'll just tell you now that it's quite bad practice doing that, especially in old houses, for a simple reason that there could be wires or pipes going anywhere. Water pipes, especially old lead water pipes. They'd put them in corner and all the way up. And he's obviously never hit a lead water pipe before, because he won't be doing that. Trust me. Best way to do it is start in one corner and hack a bit at a time off, and if you get near a wire or a pipe, it will rattle off. Yeah, always take bottom bit off. I think I've mentioned this before. Always take bottom bit off first, and you can see if there's any going down into ground. Then any wires, pipes. Hiya, Dampsam here. Did you know, if you want to watch a full unedited version of this, if you become a Damp fan, $2.99, which is as much as an expensive cup of coffee up here, you can watch a full unedited version of this. Nah, let's get back watching this bit, eh? See you in a bit.
There's no dry bits around the side. Always this around the sides that...
Good practice.
Right, so this is the consistency that I want.
Yeah, but it's going to stiffen
This
up.
is actually quite stiff.
Yeah.
I need it to be stiff so I can get the thickness. To make sure
Do you
you've got a
know,
real...
I've noticed something about old dirty boy Amph. If you've noticed, he likes to stick a few double entendres into his videos. A bit like what do they call them? Bungo and Zippy and all them. Apparently they used to do the same. Script writers used to put all double entendres in. So I think Anth seems to put him in for his wife. His wife probably watches these videos, so he likes to put him in and make her laugh a bit.
really good straight edge now.
There you go.
As you can see, I put this here the best way. I've got a fair bit to build out.
I just hope
That's
he's going
the
to
bit
damp
that I'm gonna
wall
do
down
first.
before he puts
Putting this
it
stuff on, I do it in the same fashion that I would do sand cement. So I will start from the top, from the right hand side, and work my way around. So I'm constantly working into the stuff.
Good
This is
practice.
actually a really light material to use, which is great.
Yeah.
So I can just throw it in. It's like using sand cement, but without the heaviness.
Hang on a minute. It didn't look like he'd damped his handboard down. Oh, he has. He has, but it still looks a bit dry, that. I always have to damp my handboard just before I put my stuff on. Because in warm weather it will dry out really quickly, and then it's just annoying when when stuff goes dry on bottom and finish or this stuff. There we go. It does look as if he has put a bit of water on. I'm looking at that brick there. But it does look a bit dry. I've read instructions for this, and you're supposed to have it when you apply it, so that backing can fix to. There's one thing I forgot, which is and I'm sure he mentions it in other video because I've mentioned it. So years ago, you used to be able to just put this straight on. Damp your wall down, mix it up, and put it straight on. And then Sovereign, who's got the exact same product as this, Tilcon make it for him, because this product is made by Tilcon. And Sovereign have got a product called RenderLite, who they buy off Tilcon, and Tilcon package it up as RenderLite for them as if it's their product, but it's Limelight. So it's exactly the same product as this. Now, like I said, years ago, you could just mix it up, damp your wall down, and put it on. More recently, they've changed the specification for applying this stuff. So now what you've got to do is you've got to mix a certain amount of SBR. I'm not sure what quantities are. You've got to mix so much SBR, put it in with your water for your mix, and then before you put this on, you've got to get a slurry, a sand and cement, an SBR, not sand and cement and SBR, might be a bit of sand in it, and then paint that onto the wall before you put this on with SBR in. Basically, SBR bonds to SBR, and it's got some waterproofing properties and all that. But the reason why they did that was because it was breaking down. There were a few jobs, and this product failed, and so they had to change the mix for it. And we did an estate in Scunthorpe, and again, it all failed for some reason. Now, I'm not privy to that information why it failed, but that was back in 80s. So this is what happened. You've got to you're supposed to be good practice now is to do it that way. Obviously, don't know this, so Ant is just going to put this straight on the thing. And I'm not saying I'm not saying it's not going to work. What I'm saying is it's not following instructions, because I'm sure if you go on Limelight's website, they'll have exactly the same instructions. And there's two types of Limelight. There's Limelight backing, and there's Limelight renovating plaster. They had two different types. One you could use for damp proofing, and one you couldn't. And I'm wondering whether these failures, whether they used wrong Limelight. So we don't know. See how it goes on with this. Filled it out to gap to with it what I'm doing there. So it just seems to be front what's must be thicker. So it's not bad. It's alright on sides. It must be just front that's thick. And he's not a bad plasterer at all now. You know what I mean? I'm not knocking his plastering. He's not bad at it. And we have had a few people comment that he's a good lad. I'm saying. So look, this is what I'm gonna say. About 3 minutes ago, Anne says, "I'm gonna put this on like whatever he said, so and so." And I'm going to go from right to left. Ian Tizzy, top to bottom and right to left. This is right, isn't it? Unless I'm wrong and this has been filmed funny. This is right near where angle is. That over there where he's got with his plastering is fucking left. So he either don't know his left from his right, or he's getting confused in his old age. Left, left to right. It's right to left. Fucking backing plaster, right to left. Always has been. Skimming's left to right. See, what tends to happen if you put it too thick is, and especially if it's not wet enough background, it will all of a sudden start to peel away. And if any plasterers are watching this and listening, if you put stuff on too thick, you be in the next room, you just hear a thud, and there's a big patch come out, and it's just a fucking nightmare. See, I'd have put as well, let me just say, I'd have put what's called a thick bead on. So, or a plaster bead, whatever they call them. So you've got thin beads and thick beads. Thin beads for plasterboards, thick beads for backing plaster. What are they? £2.50 for a 2.4 or something like that. Just put it on the NR because it's thick. You could put it on the NR, line it up with initial bead, and then get a straight edge, make sure it's right. And then you can plaster to bead. That's the easiest way of doing it. What was that? Someone's just come in. Somebody's nicking his van, I think.
Right, I thought I'd explain what I'm doing. So I've got to build up this now, and I've got a fair bit of thickness. So what I've done is I've got my straight edge going all the way up. Yeah. I put my level on it to make sure it is level. Yeah. But I've got it back a tiny bit because I know I've got to get a finish on it, and I also need to be able to get a bead on this as well. Yeah. So that's why I've just had to force as much as I could into the back.
He's there, look. He's got another one in. Double entendres, or a euphemism. He's got to force one into it back.
And basically, I've started to get a bit of a straight line appearing now. So,
like I said, the easiest thing to do, just get a bead, what's made for backing plaster amph. Just stick it in. Tap it with your straight edge. Get it in line. That's what you do. It saves you a bit of work, pal.
I'm going to now lift this off now. I'll show you. Hang on. So
that is definitely not had any water on it. Definitely not had any water on it. It does look like concrete, doesn't it? That.
So roughly
pulling like quick as hell.
So that's my rough working line now. One of the really good things about renovating plaster is you can get a fair amount of thickness on the first go. So I've got a fair amount on this already, but
that's it. You see, that's it. When you what is not done there, obviously schoolboy error by Amph. You're supposed to nip it up. So rather than going straight into thing there, you should have gone up and then just slid underneath. It made like a little arch under there, and then let that kind of go off. But I don't think he's put enough water on there as well. So I think it's too dry underneath and it's just peeling back off. Just my thoughts.
It's very easy to try and put too much on because you can get so much thickness.
Well, it isn't. You know what I mean? If you're a plasterer and you know how much is going on in your trowel, you're not blind. You can see how thick it's going on. So it's not easy, is it? You know what I mean? A good plasterer would know. And two bag Terry. Is it break into another bag? Is it mixing a full one up?
want to find out a bit about my mixer, I've done a video. I'll put a link just here, a little plug to one of my other videos. But if you're interested, I recommend it. It's been a great mixer. Dreadful. I've had it for ages now.
Fucking dreadful, mate, that whisk. Needs to get a fucking belt. Chances down by his ankles. No knee pads either. His knees must be fucking killing him. Old GM's on. No workwear. Just noticed 3/4 Addies, aren't there, them?
Right, so
Surely he never wore them when he used to fucking go out.
these are going to be. So this is now roughly ready for a float on in a minute. This one here is still too thick. I'm just going to put a scratch on it now.
See, that's how we used to do it as well. When I first started, you'd plaster all the way down, and then you'd cut bottom off to stop it bridging. So while it was still wet, you'd cut it off with gauger and get you a nice line all the way back to underneath. But also, what that'd do is, if it's thick, it has a tendency to sag down wall and fall off. That's what you used to do with rendering. When you were rendering, you'd always against it. But with these, you can hate these. These are white beads. White beads that's meant for backing plaster.
Right, I don't know how much you got of that, so I've just quickly floated this.
You've
this is
edited
actually
it
quite soon after I've just got it all level and everything. It pulled in pretty quickly, to be fair. The only awkward bit is, if you can just see down here, you obviously can't float down that. So what I did was, I just got my angle trowel and I just did it at a different angle. So instead of going...
You got his angle trowel, did it at a different angle? I don't get that.
Instead of going nice and smooth.
That won't fit in, surely. That looks like his head won't cut down. An angle trowel cut down.
Smoother, I just did it at a slight angle, just to roughen it up a bit so that I can get some key on it for next time. I've used my straight edge to get this as straight as I can, so I'm keeping in line with what's there. Kept it back a tiny bit because I'm going to be putting a bead on this area.
It's fucking flush. That's flush with wall above. And he's put his straight edge on to make sure it was same level. He's going to have to like scrape all that back down when it's either when it's wet before he goes, or when he comes next time, because he's got to cut it back to get a thin bead on. Why you'd put a thin bead on? He's made more work for his son than he should have done.
And this area here, because there is already a bead there, so I can follow that. There's a bead there. So what are the benefits of using renovating plaster? Well, renovating plaster is an alternative to using lime plaster.
It's not an alternative. It's not an alternative. Lime plaster's lime plaster. There ain't no alternative. It's fucking lime plaster. You use lime plaster for a reason, probably for heritage buildings historic buildings, they'll not let you use Limelight on there because it's got fucking cement in.
Basically, that's the way I would describe it. It's a lot easier to use than lime plaster as well. It's a lot lighter. There isn't the waiting time there is with lime. It's just a more enjoyable experience, to be honest. I've done a fair bit of lime work, and it's heavy. It is really heavy work doing lime. So with Limelight, it just takes all the stress out of it. The beauty of it is that it's a breathable plaster, basically. So the moisture can come in and the moisture can go out.
You just said breathable, innit? Fucking hell. Ding!
Just like the old lime would. So if you've got moisture in your walls, and basically sometimes you just need to let the walls breathe.
Ding! Fucking hell. Again, let the walls breathe. Mate, you've got moisture in your walls, let the walls breathe. I can hear these. Can you hear this room breathing? Fucking hell.
Because a lot of the
Nonsense.
time, if there's water coming in, it's got to find a way out.
What are you talking about? You're just making it up on spot. If there's water coming in, it's got to go out. Water vapour goes through fabric. Rising damp rises up. That's not rising down what you've been sorting out.
Water always does. So sometimes you've just got to let it just do it naturally, basically, and that's where using
dirty boy use some euphemism for his pals.
lime and obviously Limelight comes into play. That's why I'd recommend using Limelight. I've used it now for a few years, but yeah, I think this is.
But I've not been mixing it properly.
Is a great product, especially considering how easy it is to use. You can get a lot of thickness on it. You haven't got the waiting times you do with lime. Like with lime, you normally put a coat on, and then you normally have to leave it a week, and then you have to put another coat on, and then another, and then another, to get it to the right thickness. So.
And this is a good point that he's making, old Amf. So if you're having lime work done, you imagine how many man hours that is. If they're having to come back, put a coat on, and then leave it, and then come back again, and then come back again, and then come back again, that expense goes up, and it's not a cheap product. So all these that's like saying, putting chemicals in wall and doing that and you're doing this, yeah, because the modernised materials and made them cheaper so that poorer people or whatever budget you've got, you can get your damp issues fixed. There is an alternative to having everything done traditionally, and that's all it is. Hiya, it's Dampsam here. I've just come on just to tell you that Dampsam.com is now up and running. We've got the Express damp proofing system course, designed by me, run by me, done by me. You can buy that. We've got the ultimate guide to black mold and condensation. You can pay what you want for it. And we've also got 3 free ebooks. And also we've got a guide to basement conversions, the ultimate guide to damp proofing, and also the podcasting series. You can get in contact with them and the YouTube membership. Enjoy it rest of your film.
Right, so it's now come time for me to chuck it all on. So one thing to make sure you do, make sure you got some gloves when you work.
Don't bother putting them on for knocking off and handling all muck and everything. Put them on for when you're troweling up, when you need your hands to be free.
With lime, it does burn, so you want to have some protection. So make sure you got some gloves on. Everything's ready.
He didn't have a mask on when he was mixing this up either, did he? Even though it's lime outside.
Some angle trowels and my speed skim, so I'm good to go.
Fucking speed skim. What do you want a speed skim for? There's not even a metre. There's not even a square metre there.
I'm going to apologise about my bum.
Oh, finally. Just get a fucking belt.
So this is just for getting in between this margin here. This fits perfect.
Was it margin trowel? I'm just thinking, should we call him Anthony Parry? No, I'll not be that cruel. Because he is a decent plasterer. He's just that he's just guessing when it comes to damp work. So I guess it is a phony preservation guy. Anthony Parry. So I'll call you. But not a bad spread. Stick to plastering, Amph. Well, don't stick to plastering. Come into the preservation industry, but go on some courses and learn how things work, how damp affects walls of buildings. You're halfway there. You can plaster, just learn how these products work. And what type of damp there is. You can skim that with multi-finish, just so people know. You don't have to skim it with this awful stuff.
Put it on. I'm going to put my speed skim over it now.
Don't need it.
All nice and flat. Give it a quick trowel as well at the same time.
Don't need it, Anne. It's like fucking less than a metre. Izzy could skim that and not have to use speed skim. And I don't know whether you do it in one coat. We used to put. I think you can do it in one coat. This, but it's just an awful finish. I think when I first started using it, I think we used 2 coats because we didn't know how to plaster it.
You can see here, there's a few little bubbles that's coming through.
Yeah, because you wet fucking wall through.
So once it sets a bit more, you can actually just push those bubbles in.
All right.
So you just letting everything settle first. So I didn't think I was going to trowel it, but I just missed that one.
That top.
So I've given it a quick trowel. I put a tiny bit more stuff on because it needed some. So I'm just going to leave it a little bit now because it's pulling in really nicely. Right, I've given it about 10 minutes now, and if you look here,
10 minutes.
Touch now. So what I'm going to do.
What happens with this stuff is when you wet it, it brings it back to when you go over it with your trowel and a brush, it brings it back wet. So I think you'd have to kind of dry trowel it, and then it just ends up being a matte finish.
Is I'm going to get my steel trowel over this now, and I'm going to try and get rid of any imperfections.
That'll just bring water straight to the surface again, so it'll just make it wet again. Plastic float on it there. Streaky Addy.
Nice finish that. I just used my plastic trowel at the very end just to make sure that it was as smooth as the rest of the wall.
Face has been in fucking
Basically,
garden.
the old wall is
Sun.
actually skim, and obviously this is a different type of finish. So I've just made sure that I put a nice plastic trowel at the end because that won't polish it up too much, and it looks really good. Right, I'm just going to clean up.
Plastic trowels are for polishing it up.
Right, so I've finished this job now. I hope you've learnt something from that. If you've got any questions or anything you want to ask me about Limelight, please do. So that's me using the Limelight renovating plaster. So I put the base coat on, I've put the finish on, and it's all down to the painters and stuff now. So I do think you need to get different type of paint for using lime because it needs to be breathable. So
fucking getting breathable.
If you are going to be doing it, that's something to take into account, because normal paint will just seal it and that will defeat the object.
Normal paint, what do you call normal paint? Normal paint for me is a matte, which is water based, which allow water vapor to go through it. A vinyl paint, now that's different. That'll seal it in. So this is what I'm on about. Mr. Amf he doesn't know about how moisture affects walls. He's just guessing.
Object of using a breathable material. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys.
You're welcome.
Please like and subscribe. I'm doing really well at the moment. I've managed to get quite close to 1,000, which is my goal for the year. So if you do like these videos, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. That would be ace. Don't forget, there's a new video every Tuesday. Right, thank you very much for watching. Catch you on the next video.
Bye-bye now. Well, I enjoyed that. That were all right. A lot of content there for us because I'm kind of just guessing at preservation work and damp work. He's not. He's a plasterer basically, and he seems to have done a bit of everything. And he's been told by somebody, "This is how you do this, and this is how you use that. This is how you use that," and it's wrong. But he's making his money. He's getting money off of people in these wealthy houses. They believe in what he says. So, fill your boots. But if you ever want any advice, I'm always on end at phone or email. See you later. Bye-bye now.